I just moved to a new neighborhood. There are lots of parks, and there's this one walking path that kind of snakes its way through all of them. It's a cement path for both walking and biking. Most of the parks are long and narrow. They are kind of placed between various residential neighborhoods. A couple of them have small streams and ponds. So far I've seen a ton of ducks, swans, squirrels, and rabbits, and of course people walking their dogs. There are also a lot of churches in my neighborhood. I've seen at least 6 within walking distance. Since I usually walk early in the morning, they are always empty. Last weekend I went for a second walk. It was a gorgeous afternoon, and after I'd finished with my work, one of the churches I passed had a full parking lot. From a distance it looked like it was that busy time between services when people are coming into park and kind of waiting around for the previous people to leave so they can get a good spot. When I got inside, I noticed it was more of some kind of parking lot activity. When I got even closer, I noticed a very nice smell. There were a bunch of booths set up and people were selling food. As soon as I got really close, the smell of the food really hit me. Normally it's not so difficult to not eat when you don't want to, but whenever you are in a local festival situation, it's kind of hard to resist. You have both scarcity and social proof working against you. Scarcity because you tell yourself this is only a one-time thing. That since it's a one-time thing, you don't want to miss out on this. You want to enjoy this as much as possible. Social proof because everybody else is eating. And if it's for any kind of good cause, like a fundraiser, it almost feels like a sin to not participate in this. But then I saw a few people walking towards this meeting room. They had a sign out front saying it was open to the public. Since I was already in a festive mood, having already decided I was going to eat some unexpected and deliciously smelling junk food, I figured in for a penny, in for a pound. I sat near the back as there were already plenty of people. The guy started talking and essentially told everybody his Jesus origin story. He said he was close to suicide a few years ago. He'd been fired from his job. His credit cards were all maxed out. He was running out of money. Just the thought of doing illegal things to get money for drugs or booze put him in a very depressed and suicidal state. He had no hope. He doesn't actually remember praying, but for some reason he turned on the TV and started flipping around. He saw this preacher that seemed to talk directly to him. I know you're in pain. I know you're suffering. I know that you are in a bad state, but I promise you, if you accept Jesus into your heart and allow him to take your suffering, you will be healed. I know you are thinking of suicide. I know your mind is filled with dark thoughts. All you need to do is pray with me now and Jesus will heal you. There's a guy who lives downtown somewhere. I don't know if he really exists or if he is a myth, but he has powerful healing powers. Not spiritual healing powers, but actual physical healing powers. But it's how he chooses whom to heal that is the most interesting. He tells the people he heals why he heals them so they may help others. And the people that he's healed have verified medical records. This isn't some kind of superstitious storytelling. This is based on first-hand accounts. If people are in pain and they just pray for healing, then he won't come. He only comes to those who have accepted their pain, that have accepted that their pain may never leave them, that see the pain as not only suffering but to serve some kind of larger purpose. It reminds me of the belly of the whale idea from Joseph Campbell, from the story of Jonah who was in the literal belly of a whale, or from Jesus who was in a tomb for 3 days, or the trials that Hercules had to make in the underworld. The idea of needing to face your inner demons is present in nearly all mythology, that unless you can defeat the demons within, you'll never be able to defeat the demons in real life. That only by being able to face and conquer your inner darkness will you ever be able to shine your light to the world around you. So when people accept their pain and simply try to understand what it is attempting to teach them, this guy appears, lays his hands on them, and heals them. Sometimes this happens on the street. Sometimes this happens in their homes. Sometimes this happens in hospitals. But it only happens after they embrace the pain, face the pain, accept the pain. Life is filled with both pain and pleasure. The more pain you are capable of embracing, the more pleasure you are capable of experiencing. He said he felt kind of silly, but because he was in such a bad way, he did it anyway. He got down on his knees and he literally put his hands on the TV. He accepted Jesus and his life turned around. He quit doing drugs immediately and had zero withdrawals. He had to live on the streets for a little bit, but he never drank or did drugs again. He slowly pulled himself up and got a job and started to save money. Eventually, he came to this church, and after putting himself through divinity school, he is now an assistant pastor. That's essentially what this festival was about. The members bought and cooked the food on their own just to share their ministry with the neighborhood. Most of the food was insanely cheap. I ended up getting this huge baked potato with chili, cheese, bacon, and sour cream. The thing was extremely filling and only cost $2. There was a bunch of other people selling equally delicious smelling and affordable food. I was glad I got out of there eating only a baked potato and some chicken nuggets and some ice cream. I've heard there are plenty of foxes on these trails, but I haven't seen them. The other night, I'm pretty sure I was being followed by a raccoon that was probably hoping I'd tossed it some food. I'll have to remember to bring some peanuts with me next time, just in case.